Hey guys, and welcome back. It is now 24 days until Newcastle play their first game of the brand new season as they take on Gateshead in our first pre-season match. I'm counting down the days now. I can't wait until we return. But in order for Newcastle to potentially have new signings going into that Gateshead match, we probably ideally need to sign them around the next maybe 2.5 weeks if we're lucky, but around the next 2 weeks we have to get players through the door if we want to get them playing straight away. And as well as that, after the Gateshead game, you're playing Rangers 2 days later and then you're off to America for a couple of weeks. So it is actually quite important we get signings done within the next 2 weeks in order for them to be a part of the squad when we're touring America for the Premier League series. But anyway though guys, welcome back. We've got plenty of news to talk about on the channel today, as well as the transfer stuff regarding Tonali. Unlike Barella, this Tonali one's actually got some weight to it. It's moving somewhere, which is what you want to see as a Newcastle fan. And then secondly, we also have Newcastle United's leaked Saudi Arabia away kit going into the next season. Is this the real one? I think it might be, and I'll explain why in just a moment. But if you guys like what you're watching, make sure you get down there, hit that subscribe button if you're brand new, smash the like button as well. If you have anything you want to say or anything you want to say to the comments I made, make sure let me know down in the comment section. I'll get back to as many as I possibly can. But without further ado, enough of me beating around the bush, let's get straight into it. Let's start off this video by talking about Sandro Tonali, because there's been quite a lot of information that has either came out this morning or last night regarding the AC Milan current Italy under-21 defensive midfielder. If Newcastle are going in for this player, what does this also mean for the likes of James Maddison, Nicola Barella? Are we now walking away from those two deals and focus on this one? What's going on with regards to our signs as well as this one? So we'll get through everything you need to know about that. So it's been reported originally by The Athletic yesterday that Newcastle had bid in the region of 50 million euros, not pounds, euros I must add, that Newcastle had bid that amount of money to try and get Sandro Tonali in. An amount which is expected to be rejected, an amount that is deemed to be lower than what AC Milan want and also lower than the player's value. Personally for me, would I take Sandro Tonali 100%, just like Nicola Barella, a player that really does excite me. I think Newcastle do need a defensive midfielder. I think it'd be great to get Bruno a little bit further up the pitch where he's a bit more natural. Take him and Joe Linton alongside each other, then you've got Tonali behind him. Not mention as well, you've got the likes of Joe Willock and Sean Longstaff. I mean, we've got a serious midfielder. We get one of these midfielders in. We've got so much talent at this football club. All we need that squad just a little bit more we can put in there in case we get a couple of injuries, especially the Champions League playing additional matches. A couple of injuries in there can completely fault our season, so it's important now to get a little bit more in there. I think Tonali is such a good sign to go in for, someone that is extremely young and has a lot of potential, somebody who's already played at a world-class standard, but potentially get even better. So that got reported by The Athletic. It then got followed up by Sky Sports and Pete Graves that Newcastle are interested in the player. The interest is there. Newcastle will want to go in for him, just like Barella. It's the same sort of information coming across. Then just before people went to sleep, Craig Hope came out with a bit more of a negative post, but he's staying grounded, saying that Newcastle, the valuation for players not enough. We still have to do a lot more. The interest is there, but Newcastle aren't as far forward as people might expect. So that was the information that came out last night. As for this morning, it's been quite positive, especially from the Italian media side of things. So it's been claimed over there that representatives of Sandro Tonali are actually in London now speaking to people from Newcastle United. This sort of negotiation will be trying to discuss fees, trying to see the player side of things. And the fact that both parties have decided to meet up in London, I think is a good sign. Definitely an indication that something is moving, unlike the likes of Barella where it came out. For me, I think the Nicola Barella deal probably got leaked too early. I think that actually is real. I think it was a case there. Newcastle now want to test the water, see what happens. It's unfortunately been leaked quite early, and Newcastle now kind of backed away a bit. I don't see us going for Barella anymore. I think it's probably a case now when Newcastle have looked at it. Someone's popped up or they're not happy with the media attention, so they decide to walk away and go for a different player. Now, this Tonali one actually seems to have a lot of water to it. It seems to be one that's actually moving somewhere. And for me, it still will be hard because, well, this is a young player who is happy playing for Milan. He's only just signed for them as well. Someone that's getting paid a lot of money, be happy where they are. It's one of them ones where it's going to take a lot of convincing, I would say. I think Newcastle are definitely going to have to convince the player why he should join us. It'll be one of them ones as well where it's going to take a lot of money to sign him. He's a young player with a lot of potential. It's going to be one of them ones where it's not going to be easy at all. I don't think it'll be an easy deal at all, but at least it looks like Newcastle are actually going somewhere. But what does this mean for the James Maddison deal? Are we now going to walk away from James Maddison because of the fact we are targeting Sandro Tonali? Just what's going on between Newcastle, Tottenham and James Maddison? Well, I think the big problem has always been that Leicester City want the same valuation as they wanted last summer, which makes no sense in a money perspective for Newcastle and Tottenham because, one, Leicester City are now in the Championship, and two, James Maddison has less than 12 months in his contract, which quite literally means that Leicester City have to sell him in this transfer window to work to get any money. James Maddison doesn't want to play Championship football. He wants to be in the international team. He wants to play Champions League football. Newcastle have that, Tottenham don't, which is where I think the big factor is. Now, Tottenham scares me a little bit because I think Tottenham is a sort of team that will overpay. I think Tottenham will become desperate because of the fact they haven't got any European football, so they haven't got much pull power. There's no reason for players to join Tottenham, so quite literally, they overpay football clubs and they overpay players' wages in order to get them in. That's the only way they can really sign players and beat teams in a competitive market. Now, Newcastle aren't dumb. We aren't going to allow the likes of Leicester City to take the piss out of us and force us to go, oh, you know what, there's £50 million for James Maddison. There you are. We're not going to do that at all. We're not that football team. We're smart, we're patient. Newcastle will only spend money and we'll only do deals if it benefits us, if the deal works for us and if the deal's a good value as well. James Maddison currently is not good value. It's that simple. Tottenham, now I think Newcastle's only problem is with Tottenham going for him. If Tottenham still are the same as us, we're both waiting out for him. Now, my personal opinion with Newcastle, I think we're waiting for the valuation to drop. Naturally, over the transfer window, Leicester City will slowly drop the valuation. That's what I think both teams are waiting for. The only problem I see for Newcastle in terms of James Maddison is if Tottenham put an official bid on. If Tottenham all of a sudden actually dump 45, 50 million pounds in for him, desperately trying to get the player in, then I think Newcastle have lost this one. But if they don't do that, if both teams wait it out, then I fancy Newcastle's chances. But at the minute, we're going in for a different player. We want players in within the next couple of weeks or so. We're not willing to overpay for James Maddison. It's one that I see progressing over the window. I think that one's a long burner, unfortunately. But for the likes of Tonali now and Newcastle wanting to get deals done for the pre-season matches, this one I think has the most weight to it. It's the most realistic side I can currently see in social media, unless all of a sudden out of nowhere someone pops up just like an Alexander Isak. It looks good, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, before we get into the Saudi Arabia leaked away kit for next season, I just wanted to talk about outgoings at this football club first. I'm not sure when the next opportunity will be in a video where I get a chance to properly address it, so I thought we're slotted in here now. We'll talk about Newcastle's current squad because we kept a hold of more or less all the players, which means that some of them have to go no matter what. Some of these players will be sold in order for us to buy and put them into the 25-man squad. So we'll talk about the retained players first. So Matt Ritchie and Mark Gillespie are both staying at Newcastle. They've been offered contracts, they've accepted it. Paul Dummett has been offered a contract, he hasn't accepted it yet. I'm fully expecting to accept it. That'll be his 24th year at Newcastle. There's no way he's going to leave when we've got Champions League football. Loris Karius is also the second player who hasn't accepted a new contract yet. He's been offered it, but unlike Paul Dummett, this is one where I can see him leaving. I think his family especially is trying to push him to make a move towards Italy. And at Newcastle, you'd be more or less a third choice goalkeeper now. I don't think Karius is ever going to be a number one anywhere, but I definitely think he's good enough to be a number two. So I think it's a case now where he probably reflect on his time at the football club, have a look at our options. And he's one that I probably can't say leaving. I think he will want more game time elsewhere. The bright guy also say leaving. He wasn't happy with the game time last season. Now, Eddie Howe stated he wants to keep a hold of him, but he's one that I think just has his mind set. He's one of them ones where I think he is looking for a move elsewhere. Now, because of the fact we're keeping the light of Matt Ritchie as well, I'm fully expecting Javier Manquillo to leave. Unless there's a complete curveball and Newcastle decide to get rid of Emil Kraft after his 1 year injury. I think Manquillo probably is the fullback that's going to leave. Someone that can play both sides but just hasn't got the game time anymore. Jamal Lewis is definitely going to leave 100%. That guy just doesn't play anywhere, so I can't see him staying. Like I said, Jeff Hendrick and Isaac Hayden are both still contracted, but players I don't see staying at all. I didn't think Maxon's an interesting one because he posted that goodbye message, I would argue. Now, since nothing's really came out in the transfer side of things, but I'm sure you guys have seen the deals over in Saudi Arabia, how much Saudi Arabia teams are willing to pay for players. He's the sort of player that I think a Saudi Arabia club probably would be willing to spend loads of money on Newcastle. And whether we accept the deal like that or not is another question. But that's one I definitely do want to still keep an eye on. I'm still convinced Sir Maxman could leave this window. But as for the other deals though, I think I've addressed most of them there. Cardor is obviously going to go back to Hull, if not Middlesbrough. And it's one of these ones where Newcastle are going to clear out. It's going to be a massive clear out. We can't allow too many players to leave, I will say. It's going to be probably about maybe 4, 5, 6, and we'll bring that about that many in as well. It's going to be one of these ones where we have to clear up in order to buy. And for a lot of our long-serving players, I think it's their last window. I think some of them are going to go. It's now time to talk about the Saudi Arabia leaked away kit going into next season. Now, I've been sent across this photograph by someone. It is possible, I will say straight away, it is possible that this individual might have mugged me off, but I do actually believe it's real. If he's got me, then fair enough. But due to the fact that we already have public knowledge that Newcastle's away kit is in fact the green national team colours of Saudi Arabia, and also, I mean, the kit is expected to come out either towards the end of this week or the end of next week, in my personal opinion. So I think the timing is right. The picture looks real, the kit looks genuine, and it's one of them ones where, unless it's a serious troll, then it looks legit. I probably do believe it, to be honest. Now, my actual personal opinion on that kit, I'm not digging it, to be honest. I had a little chance to look at it. I don't know what it is. It's just the actual pattern on it. I'm not really a big fan of it. It's one of them ones, again, where I probably need to see it in person, but I'm just not feeling it so far. I don't know if it's just my bias towards the black and white kits. I just absolutely adore the home shirts. I'm never really a big fan of the away ones. So that was the second one that came out there. Of course, the actual last kit got leaked in social media, and that one did get confirmed to be true. So in this case, again, worst case scenario is going to be a different green away kit, but you know it's green anyway. That picture looks real. If he's mugged me off, then so be it. But I just wanted to come across and say it now because it's meant to come out the next week or so. Do you guys like it? Let me know your thoughts down below. I'm not digging it. I said it before, I'm not really a fan of it. I'll probably see it in person and maybe I might change my opinion, especially when I see the seller sponsor on it as well. But my first impressions of it, not a big fan, to be fair. But anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap the video up there. If you enjoyed watching, make sure to let me know down in the comment section your thoughts on it. Plenty to talk about there. Apologies if the video went out a little bit too long, but it's obviously great to talk about this football club. It's great to get through everything, and it probably is going to continue the daily upload because there's so much going on. But I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much, and I will see you all in the next